pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone, and Happy New Year to all of you that joined us. I see the Special Licensing Authority is here intact, so we're excited for the Wild Bunch to be here with us tonight. So we'll get to you in just a second. But first, we're going to get to public comment. Public comment is an opportunity for town residents and other interested individuals to speak to items not on the agenda. The comment period is limited to the first 30 minutes of the meeting, and then if we run over, we'll hit it the rest at the end of the meeting. And you are allowed 3 minutes to speak. I don't have anybody signed up. Anybody wishing to make public comment tonight? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to reports, items, and comments from mayor and council. And I will start to my far right, Councilmember Rivero.
Thank you. Truly enjoyed the holiday season. Not a lot of work for the last few weeks, so that's been nice. But looking forward to a great new year and wishing you all a Happy New Year also.
Excellent. Councilmember Barrington.
Yeah, it's been quiet, but we had the DBA Christmas party on the 13th, where we said goodbye to some outgoing board members and welcomed in several new, and we'll miss a lot of the outgoing, and Omar is going to be one of those. So, and then I had a Douglas County Housing Partnership meeting bright and early the next morning after much cheer at the DBA party. And I think that is all I have to report. Thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks.
Nothing crazy, except I finally got to do the trail at Harvey Open Space, so it was really great to be out there. So check it out maybe when it's less slushy and snow on the trail.
Councilmember Dyack.
Yeah, I really have nothing. I hope everybody had a great holiday season, and the Dyack family is looking forward to 2024. Hopefully it's a way better year than it was this past year.
Councilmember Wilkes.
So I attended a ribbon cutting for the Santasha Yoga Studios, which is phenomenal. They've got therapy sessions on one side, and they've got yoga on the other side, and I'm looking forward to having a very healthy 2024 at that. And then I attended the Wreaths Across America with the mayor and Councilmember Hefta at the Parker Cemetery, which was, same as always, a wonderful experience to honor our vets who are no longer with us at the holiday season. And then I also attended the Downtown Business Alliance Christmas party. So it was very busy, but good.
Councilmember Hefta.
Yes, I had the opportunity to connect with the Comcast representative to learn about what services they offer folks. They have a new line of services which helps many individuals in need and many nonprofits as well. I also had the opportunity to go to the CORE luncheon with Mayor Toberg and had an opportunity to connect with CORE and learn about their I want to call this corporate giving program as well. I enjoyed attending the Wreaths Across America with Councilmember Brandy Wilkes, sorry, brain a cramp on that. And then, of course, our very well-spoken mayor. And then I also always enjoyed and was invited to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I was invited to their nativity drive-through. It was a live nativity drive-through. And so I took my children to that, and they really enjoyed that. And so had some family in town. And like Councilmember Dyack, looking forward to a much better 2024.
Excellent. Well, I hope you all got a lot of rest. We got a lot of work to do this year. So not only is it an election year, but it's still a 2024 in a very, very fast-growing town. So Happy New Year to you all. Next up is the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion and one vote. There will be no separate discussion of consent agenda items unless council votes to remove an item. Ordinances on the consent agenda are for introduction only and will not be removed for discussion. So council, you have items 4A through 4G for your consideration.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve consent agenda items 4A through G, please.
Second.
Motion is made by Rivera, second by Hendricks. Rivera?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 6-0. First up on our resolutions, resolution number 24-008, a resolution to appoint new members and an alternate on the Town of Parker Special Licensing Authority and to appoint the chairperson and vice chairperson. Madam Town Clerk.
It's their favorite part.
I know. She loves to be at the podium.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Every year, you are required to appoint special licensing authority members. This year, we have 2 regular appointments for you to appoint, and then one alternate and the chair and vice chair. So I'm going to ask them to come up. So this year, Mike Appleby we're recommending appointment for another 2 years as a regular member. And then our alternate member from last year, we are recommending to be a regular member on the authority. And then R.D. Coons has graciously accepted or is okay with remaining a alternate member. And then our committee, which was made up of the mayor, Brandy Wilkes, Susan Irvine, and myself, are recommending the chair be Kelly Nardi and the vice chair Mike Appleby. So with that, are there any questions?
Council, I'll start to my right. Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Rivera?
Yeah, I've got a few, Chris. I'm just kidding.
Bring it on.
No questions.
Councilmember Dyak?
No, I have nothing.
Councilmember Wilkes?
No questions.
And Councilmember Hefta?
Yes, I have questions. So from each of you, I would like the following question answered. Also taking into account that very lovely sweatshirt you have on, Mr. Appleby. What do you enjoy most about serving on the Parker Special Licensing Authority?
I think I had to go first last year. Part of it is just being in the know about what's happening in town, so I think it's really fun to see the new licenses that are coming forward, so we know what new restaurants and bars and businesses are opening in the town, so I enjoy that. I think it's important that we just help the town by enforcing the state liquor code, and, hopefully that takes a little burden off the town council that you have a group of citizens that find that interesting and kind of fun.
Last year I was an alternate, but I was fortunate enough to be able to fill in for most of the meetings. And I found that the variety of people that came in front of us was really unusual. And I thought that the board treated everyone very fairly. And I hope that I learned a lot because now I'm going to be a regular. And I appreciate the opportunity to do that. Thank you.
Well, you almost have to repeat everything that they've said, which I'm not going to. But it was my first time actually being here for over 20 years of getting involved with the city. So it opened my eyes to a lot of things that go on and some of the places that I frequent and what all goes through with their liquor aspect and that. So I've enjoyed the whole year with and found out more about the city of Parker and some of the businesses that are here.
I just take it as a privilege to serve my town. We've lived here for 17 years, enjoy it, and anything I can give back is what I would like to do.
Excellent. Thank you all. So with that, we're going to open up for public comment at 7:10. Anyone from the public wishing to make a comment on resolution number 24-008 and any of the appointments? Seeing none, we'll close it at 7. I thought with Appleby up here, there might be a comment from the public. I just don't know.
Especially.
Yeah.
But we'll close it at 7:10 and bring it back to the council for any final comments. Councilmember Hendricks?
No, thanks for serving. I know at least Michael for sure, and I appreciate all y'all stepping up again.
Okay. Councilmember Barrington?
Thank you for getting involved and taking an interest, because we really need people like you, and I know I speak for all of us, but we appreciate it. Thank you.
Councilmember Rivero?
Echo. I appreciate you definitely serving for the town and doing what you do. And I know a couple of you have been longtime servants to our community, and I look forward to getting to know, to the best that the law will allow us, to know our special licensing board. But again, I thank you very, very much for giving your time to your community. Very much.
Great. Councilmember Dyak?
Yeah, no, I feel like the one who has to repeat everything that they said, but I'm not going to. Thanks.
Councilmember Wilkes?
I'm excited. Kelly, I hope you can handle all these guys. They're a lively bunch.
They are a lively bunch.
But no, you guys are wonderful, and the SLA holds a near and dear spot in my heart. So I'm just excited. I think you guys are a wonderful bunch of people, and we're in good hands.
Councilmember Hefta?
I just want to say thank you for the balance and the wisdom that you bring to the Parker Special Licensing Authority. It's greatly appreciated, you taking time out of your day, out of your retirement, if some of you are retired, to still take the time to research these issues and give back to the community. And we greatly value that, so thank you.
Great. With that, I will entertain a motion on resolution number 24-008.
I move to approve resolution number 24-008.
Second.
Motion is made by Wilkes, seconded by Hendricks. Rivero?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 6-0. Congratulations to you all. Oh, yeah. We got Andy here, so we need a picture.
Our first ABC of the year.
Always be.
Yes.
All right.
Campaign.
You were on the selection committee.
Picture time. Gotta get there. Look.
I don't have pictures. If I fluff, look over. Won't have mine.
Well, you're all prognostic.
All right, now let's sit next to Kelly.
I'll stand over here by you.
Sure, Michael is a pickpocket.
All right, yeah, looking good. And take a couple here on 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. We'll do one more. 1, 2, and 3.
Couples too.
Thank you very much.
Couple thousand.
Thank you, Kevin.
Mike. Yes.
All right, next up is resolution number 24-006, a resolution appointing directors to fill vacancies on the Overlook Metropolitan District Board of Directors. Madam
Good evening.
Deputy Town Attorney.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. This next item comes before you on a request from the Overlook Metropolitan District. Currently, the Board of Directors for the district is empty, so the district has requested that pursuant to statute 32-1905 2.5 that the council act and appoint individuals to serve on the Board of Directors so they can move forward on conducting the business that they need to. They do have obligations prior to January 10th of this year to discuss their budget and, it's echoing, sorry, and to work on their mill levy. So the two individuals that the Board of Directors, or that the Metropolitan District is asking to be appointed for the Board of Directors are a Jill Gibbons and a Stacy Hedrington. They are two qualified electors that both live in the district, and they are willing to serve on the board. We are requesting that council approve the resolution. The attorney, Paula Williams, is also here on behalf of the district if council has specific questions for her as well.
Okay, if council, I know we're going to have some questions for council, so if you want to come on up. And so, council, as we go through, you can ask questions of our staff or of the council for the district. So I'll start to my left, Councilmember Dyak.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Happy to be here. Am I on?
You're on.
Yeah. Okay, happy to be
The only
here.
thing I have is, what process did you go through to solicit interest and get these two
Sure.
candidates to be a part of this?
Sure. We have regular director elections every other year. There was some changing up, so we didn't have a director's election this year, but we will have one in 2025. The Colorado State Legislature made a change recently that we have to contact the county assessor and obtain voter registration list, and then we have to mail calls for nominations. We have never had an election. We've never had more candidates than board seats available. We had one director that had been willing to serve, and that director decided to resign, which left us without a board. So we contacted the Homeowners Association for the community, and we attended a Homeowners Association meeting and begged and pleaded and managed to find two people who are graciously willing to serve and use their time. Because they're being appointed hopefully, by the town, we will have to go to a special election. That will require us, again, mailing the calls for nominations or emailing, if the clerk provides an email address to us, to everybody who is registered to vote within the boundaries of the district. Again, if no one comes forward, we'll cancel the election.
Thank you.
Councilmember Wilkes?
Yeah, I actually have 3 questions. So the first one, on the special election, if you have to go through that process, I know that they had mentioned that you have a January 10th deadline of some things. That's 8 days from now.
Yeah.
Does that give you enough time to complete that?
So if you appoint the board members tonight, we will have a board. The board members will take their oaths, and we will file those with the Secretary of State. Once their oaths are taken and filed, they can take actions as board members. The special election has to be held within 6 months, so they will be up for election and there'll be 5 seats available, but it will give us board members who can actually adopt the district budget and certify its mill levy before January 10th.
Okay, and then, thank you for that. On the second question, you've got 2 that we're looking to appoint. Does that give you a quorum? Does that allow you to move forward with what you need to accomplish?
We can operate with one board member. It's a 5-seat board. We can operate with one board member. If we have 5 board members, we need 3 for a quorum. If we have 2 board members, we need both of them for a quorum. They have both indicated that they're willing to serve, so I have every reason to believe they will attend meetings and take action.
Okay, and then my last question is, what's going to be done to help recruit the other 3 members?
Again, it's largely word of mouth. It's neighbors talking to neighbors. It's going to HOA meetings. We do have a district website. We are required to have one by law. We don't have a list of all the email addresses of everybody who lives within the district, but we can certainly work with the Homeowners Association to see if we can give them some information about the district that they can put out in an e-blast, or if they do a newsletter, to spread the word that way.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Councilmember Hefta?
I ask this as an informational question. As people sit on boards, you're an attorney, I'm an attorney, so I get that. Do you screen for any possible conflicts of interest at all when you review these applications?
We do not. We are required as a government to file potential conflicts of interest for our board members 72 hours in advance of each meeting. So when we have a person who is interested in serving on the board as their general counsel, we will give them an information sheet and ask them to provide information in terms of how they're qualified. We also verify their voter registration. And then we do talk to them about conflicts. So I have, for example, a district in Castle Rock that's a homeowner control district, which is great. One of the board members, which is fantastic, also serves on the town board for Castle Rock. And while it is not often, every now and again, our district will have business with the town in terms of a joint infrastructure project, things like that. And so I work with that council member to make sure that that conflict is clearly disclosed prior to the meeting and at the meeting.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington?
How many residents are in the district?
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I should have been prepared to answer that. It's at least several hundred. I apologize. I can get back to you afterward with the exact number.
I was just curious because I'm sure that's quite an expense to have to send it out to several hundred people.
The call for nominations. It's. I have to say, I applaud our state legislature for trying to educate people and trying to get people involved in their metro districts. I think a lot of what they heard was, gosh, we didn't even know we lived in one. We didn't know we could serve on the board. And so this is really a great tool. Unfortunately, having been through 2 election cycles now where we've mailed calls for nominations, it really has not, at least in the districts I represent, increased candidates that are really willing to serve. But you've got to start somewhere, right? You've got to do something, so.
Councilmember Rivera?
Thank you. And so in your experience representing different metro districts, and I believe it is an educational issue. I know in my neighborhood, it just happened. There was this board that just made the monies and they took care of our infrastructure debt. But then when the HOA did find out and the active members of our community did find out, we eventually took over the board and managed to refinance. So isn't it about dangling those little bits of power out to those members and saying, look, you have an opportunity? Because Overlook is a fairly new community. So it probably just went from the builders managing the Metro District to the citizens?
I would say it's been built out for probably 5 years.
Okay.
And yeah, I think in talking to residents who are interested in serving in boards, we always like to let them, well, number one, it depends on the type of services the metropolitan districts provide. I have metropolitan districts that really serve in lieu of an HOA. There is no HOA, so they are responsible for the programming, for the landscape maintenance. And certainly in those types of communities, we see quite a bit more resident involvement because they can see when the grass is dead. For districts that really were formed to help provide the public improvements necessary, and so all they're really doing is financing, a lot of residents don't really understand what they were there for and what the purpose is. But there are major decisions that go into servicing your debt. I had one district in Aurora this past year that was, even as bad as the bond market is, had enough assessed valuation growth that they were able to refund their debt and lower their mill levy by 20 mills, which is a significant dollar savings. And so, hopefully, again, through education, people will see that there are those opportunities to become involved in their community and with their metro district. So thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. With that, we are going to open it up for public comment at 7:25. Anyone wishing to make public comment on resolution number 24-006? Seeing none, we'll close it at 7:25. And council, any final comments? I'll start with Councilmember Rivera.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I think that is my comment. It is incredibly important citizens take the time. In the town, other than 2 neighborhoods, everybody has an HOA, and they are active, and we have a beautiful community because of that. But not enough people are involved in their metro districts. Your example of the community in Aurora was my neighborhood about 10 years ago, and we refinanced and refunded and saved the homeowners a significant chunk of change. I encourage people that are listening or read about this in the media, please, please, please look into your metro district, get involved. There is a way to help your tax burden, and it is through your own efforts. So get involved.
Councilmember Barrington?
I think Councilmember Rivero covered it all. Thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No comment.
Councilmember Dyak?
No, thank you to those citizens who have stepped up. We appreciate it.
Councilmember Wilkes?
Yeah, so in my previous neighborhood, I moved a couple years ago, but in my previous neighborhood, we had the same problem with getting people to serve on the Metro board. And our HOA board actually served on the Metro board to make sure that we were covered. So I don't know if your current HOA board has considered that maybe a few of them could also serve on the Metro board. But if it's really as difficult as it is, I think that like Councilmember Rivero said, it's greatly worth it to all of the homeowners in that neighborhood. So.
And Councilmember Hefta?
I just want to thank you for educating us here tonight as we are on the record. And also in bringing forth these 2 applicants and also screening them as you are. And thank you for your education, because there is a website called metrodistricteducation.com that is specific to Colorado. So we can certainly get the word out as you've helped educate us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. With that, council, I'll entertain a motion on resolution number 24-006.
I move to approve resolution number 24-006, please.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Rivero, seconded by Barrington. Rivero?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak? Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 6-0. Next up is our ordinances. Ordinance number 9.364 on second reading. A bill for an ordinance to approve the intergovernmental agreement by and between the town of Parker and the state of Colorado acting by and through the Colorado Department of Transportation concerning Parker Road Multi-Use Path Pine Drive to Stroh Road, project number CRP M039-010, parentheses 25906, and parentheses OLA number 331003196, routing number 24-HA1-XC-00224, in parens. Mr. Burke, could you get it longer, the title today, or?
You nailed it.
It's almost a stormwater title.
Exactly.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As you said, this is an ordinance to approve the IGA with the Colorado Department of Transportation and the town of Parker. So a little background on this IGA. The project is, the town is proposing to construct 2 segments of sidewalk that are currently sidewalk gaps along Parker Road, on the east side of Parker Road, from Pine Drive to the Pine Bluffs neighborhood, and south from Cockrell Drive to the southern boundary of the Robinson Ranch community. That's proposed to be constructed in 2025. So in 2022, the town applied for and was selected to receive funding through DRCOG for construction for this sidewalk and trail. in order to receive that funding, IGA is needed between the town and CDOT. So the funding that the town is going to receive through this IGA is approximately a 70-30 split, with the state and federal funding providing 70% of the construction funding, or right around $3.6 million, and the town would be required to provide the other 30%, or $1.4 million. That's based on an estimated $5 million construction cost. This state and federal funding can only be used for direct construction funds, and may not be used for non-direct construction expenses like design, material testing, or any construction administration. The town will be responsible for those costs entirely. And as I said, this construction is tentatively scheduled to begin in spring of 2025. We are currently in preliminary design. The preliminary design contract was approved late last year, I believe towards the end of November. The consultants making progress on that. We'll wrap up design this year and then begin that construction early 2025. And just an overview map of where this project is located. Like I mentioned, it's 2 segments. The yellow that's shown on the alignments are very conceptual here. As we get through this design process, these will be refined, but this is the limits of where the new trail will be. And to summarize that, this ordinance is required to approve the IGA with the Colorado Department of Transportation to receive those construction fundings when this project does go to construction. And with that, if you have any questions, I will answer those.
Excellent. Councilmember Dyak, you want to start us off with questions?
I have no questions.
All right. Councilmember Wilkes?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
Yeah, I know Councilmember Dyak sits on the transportation for the town on the Denver Regional Council of Governments, but originally, do you remember how this came about with DRCOG? Was this something that the federal government was very interested in funding, or we approached them, they approached us? How did this kind of work to get that 70% funding from the federal government?
So I believe it's every year, every couple of years, they do a call for applications. The town had identified a few projects. This was one that got submitted. The town originally asked for an 80-20 split for funding, I believe it was, asking for $4 million state federal funding, and then the town providing $1 million. As DRCOG goes through the process, some of the projects had to reduce some of their funding to allow a greater spread of projects. So this one was reduced slightly to 70-30 instead of what was originally requested, which was 80-20.
Okay. And that those are appropriations for 24 and into 25, or just 24?
This will be for 25, construction in 25.
Okay. So just that year only for that appropriation?
I'm not, I believe it can be extended, but I think it is for that year. But there is I know
there's a process for extending the appropriation.
If we needed to extend.
Okay.
It is possible.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington?
No questions.
Councilmember Rivera?
No questions.
All right, with that, we'll open this up for public comment at 7:34 on ordinance number 9.364. Anyone from the public? Seeing none, we'll close it at 7:34 as well, and come back in reverse order for any closing comments or debate. Councilmember Rivera?
No debate for me. This is a much-needed project, and of course, anytime DRCOG can get us federal dollars back into our community, I am 100% for, whether it's 80%, 70%, or I won't put this on the record, 70% is good.
Councilmember Barrington?
No comments, thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks?
Agreed with Councilman Rivera. Very great ROI and needed infrastructure improvements. Thank you.
Councilmember Dyak?
I have a little question. Chris, is this a set aside or tip? You can just yell it. I mean, tip. Okay, yeah. So I mean, this is a process that happens every 3 or 4 years. We, as Douglas County, were largely responsible for changing the funding structure down at Dr. Cog. There were great people who helped us along the way. It allowed us to have a dedicated revenue stream every 3 or so years. The challenge is that our state is more focused on non-building roads, but this creates the opportunity for projects like these. I did the quick math. It's 71.92%. As Councilmember Rivero said, that anytime we can bring money back to Parker to achieve things that are on our 10-year plan, they may not be at the top of the list, but when we have the opportunity, our Public Works Department looks down the list and says this might be something that we can get funded, and opportunity meets it's not luck. It's just going through it and trying to see if we can bring that money back, and we've been successful. So thanks to the operations crew.
So, Councilmember Wilkes
No comments, thank you.
and Councilmember Hefta.
Oh, thank you for your presentation, Patrick.
Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion on ordinance number 9.364 on second reading.
I move to approve ordinance number 9.364 on second reading.
Second.
Motion is made by Hendrick, seconded by Wilkes.
No.
Correct, by
Hefta.
Hefta, sorry. Hefta, Rivero?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
That passes 6-0. Next up, we have 3 contracts over $500,000 to discuss tonight. The first one up is Amendment 03 to Design Contract CIP 22-051-AS for the Town Hall Expansion Project. Mr. Ekstrom. Happy New Year, sir.
Happy New Year. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Just as you said, this is a third amendment to the design contract with Anderson Mason Dale. It's for construction documentation, entitlement, and bidding administration services. All right, so where is it happening? I think you've seen this slide before. We're expanding Town Hall to the east, and the blue line there represents the expansion zone. We're also renovating the existing Town Hall, which is represented in the yellow line. So what is happening? Renovation and expansion of the existing 2-story, 35,237 gross square foot Parker Town Hall, constructed in 2002. Renovation work to include select, light, medium, and heavy rework of existing town hall interiors. Expansion to be approximately 32,043 gross square foot, including masonry exterior to visually tie in with the existing building. Rework and rehab of existing parking lots, including revised drop-off, delivery location, and widened drive aisle for fire truck access. Landscape and hardscape improvements, including new entry plaza and new landscaping along edges of the expansion, and relocate staff from Old Town Hall to the expansion space. Summary of services. Advance current 60% drawings and specs to 100% construction documents, including all sub-consultant disciplines. Finalize entitlements submittals, including the site plan amendment and easements, and assist staff with approvals by Parker Water, Planning Commission, and Town Council. Finalize interior design, including furniture plans and specs, and assist staff with furniture buyout efforts. Assist staff and contractor with final pre-construction services, including the GMP proposal. Submit 100% CDs to the building department for permitting purposes, and assist staff with public outreach efforts as needed. So in conclusion, staff recommends Town Council award a third amendment to the design contract with Anderson Mason Dale for construction documentation, entitlement, and bidding administration services for the Town Hall expansion project in the amount of $1,073,540 Services are anticipated to take approximately 6 months to complete, and construction is tentatively scheduled to start second quarter 2024 and be complete first quarter 2026. The Fourth Amendment will be presented to Town Council just before construction start to add construction administration services to the approved design contract. And staff and architect will return to council in future study sessions to provide updates as needed. Questions?
Councilmember Hendricks, questions?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Barrington?
So is this ahead of schedule?
Oh, I would say we're on schedule.
Okay.
It's maybe slipped by a month or so. So we're pretty close to being on schedule.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Rivera?
Thank you. I know this pertains to the Fourth Amendment, but construction administrative services, is that an owner's rep, or what is the structure of this deal?
No, that will be for the architect to provide construction administration services. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'll be representing the town as owner rep during construction.
I like that.
Councilmember Dyak?
No questions.
Councilmember Wilkes?
No questions.
Councilmember Hefta?
Yeah, can I ask a question of Tom? In the big picture, how is the relationship with Anderson Mason Dale for the architects of this going? In the big picture, how is this coming along from your perspective?
Seems to be going pretty well. They've done a number of outreach type meetings with all of town staff, getting feedback from the directors, managers, and supervisors that occupy town hall and Old Town Hall. And I think they've done a good job addressing a lot of the comments, concerns, and issues that have been raised during those meetings. As Bob mentioned earlier, things seem to be pretty much on schedule and progressing as we had hoped when they started this effort last year. So all in all, I think at least from a director's perspective, my perspective, and I think I can speak for Bob, they've done a pretty good job for the town.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we'll open up this contract for public comment at 7:42. Anybody wishing to make public comment on it? Seeing none, we'll close it at 7:42. Council, any final comments or questions? Anyone?
I just want to point out that I think it's very, very important to note that in the summary of services, specifically a couple bullet points, that we have to go through the same scrutiny in our own staff and building as anybody else that wants to come into town. So we are bound by the same laws, if you will, and we will go through the same scrutiny, if not, and maybe even a little bit more scrutiny in making sure that we do this right and well and frugally for our community. And I do not see this, I think it's been pointed out a couple times in here, we're putting staff into one building for a more efficient operation. We have staff spread out throughout the community. This is not growth of government. We are not significantly adding multiple FTEs to fill this space. This is the growth of our community and giving the citizens what they want in one location. And also, I think it's important that not only is this just more rooms, this is more flex space, this is more adaptability to a new work market. So I applaud this move, and I applaud this as a reinvestment into our community. Well spent.
Councilmember Barrington?
Great comments. I don't have anything. Thank you. Great
Councilmember
job.
Hendricks?
No comments.
Councilmember Dyak?
No comments.
Councilmember Wilkes?
I'm excited. Thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
And I would just echo Councilmember Rivero's comments. A community has to project out many years. It has to look to the long term. And all our directorates have been asked to do that, and they've all complied. And so this is looking out for the long term through the expert wisdom and knowledge of our town manager. This is how she leads our town to lead our town well into the future. Thank you.
Council, I'll entertain a motion on amendment number 3 to the design contract.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the staff recommendation as part of the regular agenda.
Second.
Motion is made by Rivero, seconded by Wilkes. Rivero?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
That passes 6-0. Next up is Cherry Creek Improvements Core Electric Relocation Phase 3. Mr. Hudson. Happy New Year to you, sir.
Happy New Year to you as well. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight we have a contract for over $500,000 related to some power line relocation and undergrounding in the Cherry Creek area of Dransfield extension. Just a quick background, Dransfield Road will be extended across Cherry Creek to provide a new regional roadway connection. As part of that, we're widening also Motsenbacher Road in the vicinity of Salisbury North from Longland Drive all the way up to Todd Drive. There's several existing power lines in the area that are core, I call IREA, but core electric cooperative infrastructure within limits. We made a decision, as opposed to just relocating these overhead lines, let's underground them now and actually install infrastructure for the improvements that we're doing. For example, future traffic signals and power to the new bridge over Cherry Creek. This is just a vicinity map of the roadway improvement project. Some of the power lines in the area were actually undergrounded as part of the 2019 project on Motsenbacher. It was part of that project that we did several years ago. This is just some snips out of Google Maps, what the infrastructure looks like today. More than half the power lines are not actually on or adjacent to roads, and the red lines are what's being removed out there along, some of it's on private property, and some of it are along roads or on the Salisbury North property. This is actually phase 3. Phase 1 was a small contract to move a couple poles to start the sanitary sewer improvements that are done now. Phase 2 was done this last summer. That was to bore under Cherry Creek to remove an overhead power line so we could start the channel improvements. And this last phase is $1.3 million. This is going to basically underground approximately a mile of overhead power lines and install infrastructure for future and existing improvements in the area. Some of the work needs to occur concurrently with the roadway project, so timing of this is important. Core, being a monopoly, they're utilizing one of their contractors. They pre-bid out this type of works in advance. Core is figuring it's going to be 3+ months from payment before they can get a subcontractor to commence. Funding for this work, I want to point this out. We have a franchise agreement. The last franchise agreement was in 2008 for 20 years. Funding for this conversion work actually comes from that franchise agreement. And staff recommends approval of this contract. And with that, I'll answer any questions you might have.
Thanks, Chris. Councilmember Hefta, you want to kick us off with questions?
Sure. On the franchise agreement, did you have significant renegotiations of that over the years, or has that stayed steady, or how did that go with CORE?
The last renegotiation was 2008. It's for 20 years, so it'll be coming up in 4 more years. It'll be up for renewal. It was a lengthy process with them, but the previous council, when it comes to the franchise fee for underground power lines, that was something that the council had set up in 1988 with the initial franchise agreement with IREA back then. We have an annual franchise meeting with CORE, go through our improvements with them, they with us. But as far as in-depth negotiations, not since 2008.
So relations have held steady on that agreement?
Correct.
Thank you.
Councilmember Wilkes?
No questions, thank you.
No questions.
Councilmember Dyke? Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington?
No questions, Chris, thanks.
Councilmember Rivera?
No questions. Good to see this project get started.
With that, we'll open this up for public comment at 7:49. Anyone from the public wishing to make public comment? Seeing none, we'll close it at 7:49 and come back to the council with any final comments. Councilmember Hefta?
Thank you for your hard work, as always.
Councilmember Wilkes?
Thank you.
Councilmember Dyak?
It's just good to see overhead lines being buried. I wish we can do all of them and all the different kilowatts.
Councilmember Hendricks,
Great to see this project move forward. Thank you.
Councilmember Barrington,
Yeah, just aesthetically, it's going to look a lot nicer, so thank you.
and Councilmember Rivera, sorry.
No, I look back and appreciative to the previous councils for the wherewithal to negotiate this franchise agreement. I may ideologically wonder about the monopolies that exist in those situations, but it's good to see those dollars vested back into our community for a just cause. Well done.
And with that, I'll entertain a motion on the Cherry Creek improvements with Core Electric.
I move to approve the staff recommendation as part of the regular agenda.
Second.
Motion is made by Barrington, seconded by Hendricks. Rivera?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak? Yes. Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
That passes 6-0. Our last contract of the night, the Parker Road Sidewalk East Side Multi-Use Trail Connection, CIP 22-004-CI. Mr. Gill, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Hope everybody had a good holiday. So tonight, I'm here to present a capital improvement contract award for the Parker Road Sidewalk East Side Multi-Use Trail Connection Project. It's kind of a mouthful. So this 10-foot trail project limits are on the east side of Parker Road from south of Parker Square Drive to north of Sulphur Gulch. The project will also include a pedestrian bridge over Sulphur Gulch. As we've been talking earlier with multimodal funds, this one's 80%, so 80% of the direct construction costs are reimbursable through the state modal funds, through the state up to $3.2 million. And here's a map. It's kind of hard to see, but the north end, that's the pedestrian bridge in the orange there. And then the trail extends down south to the Parker Square. So I received 3 bids. We received 3 bids, with Naranjo being the lowest responsible bidder at just under $3 million. The engineer's estimate was $3.6 million, so they're about 20% under the engineer's estimate, which is always nice. I contacted 3 references that were provided. We're back up, and all of them provided positive feedback regarding the work quality and performance. And the contractor, they do have a history with the town, and they've successfully completed several mile-high flood district projects within town. And they also completed the Bradbury Ranch Drive emergency repairs this past summer. Sorry. So therefore, town staff recommends moving forward with the contract award contingent upon the CDOT concurrence to award. I'd sent them a request about a month ago, and with the holidays, it's taken a while, but they've assured me it's coming anytime, so. And with that, are there any questions?
Great. Councilmember Hendricks, you want to start us off?
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Rivera?
No questions.
Councilmember Dyak?
No questions.
Councilmember Wilkes?
The coming anytime, do we actually have like a real deadline for us to get that? I get the holiday season, but are we okay?
My contact, Bonnie, she said anytime. She'd said before, I did this a couple years ago and it only took like a week. And this one's getting, to a month. So I'm expecting it quite soon.
Okay.
I'm sure that a lot of staff were gone for the holidays, so I think we're in good shape.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Councilmember Hefta?
Yes, just a question on the references. When you, today, on a regular job application, sometimes you're not allowed to say much on the references section. And so I just wanted to explore that a little bit with you. What type of feedback are you allowed to get when you call on a project for references on a particular job? And I'll just add that being married to an engineer is not like being married to a lawyer. You typically get the blunt truth. So I'm just wondering, do they give you the blunt truth
Some
in these
get
references?
kind of in-depth. Some just give you a few sentences. one of them came from Michael Grabchek, one of our staff members, and he's had great experience with them. They don't tell me their age or anything.
But do you get the blunt truth? Do you get information? Yeah, they did great. Do you get factual information?
Yeah, very rarely do you ever really get negative because the contractor who's providing the references, they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna provide somebody that they went to battle with.
Yeah. Do you get information? They did great on this project or that project.
Yeah, they'll provide examples of projects that they worked with them on previously.
Previously in that recommendation.
And then I'll explain what kind of project I have and like dollar-wise or what kind of construction it is so that, they can kind of relate to it and provide me useful feedback.
So typically it's a little bit of a conversation then.
Yes. Yeah, sometimes they write me, sometimes we speak on the phone. Some maybe are a little hesitant to write things. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so with that, I'm going to open up for public comment at 7:56. Anyone from the public wishing to make public comment? Seeing none, we'll close it at 7:56. And any final comments or debate? Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington?
Nope, I'm comfortable moving forward.
Councilmember Rivera?
No, just point out, it's always fascinating to me when you have such large dollar amounts, how close these three bids are to each other. And then I also will point out that in stormwater and with Mile High on their preferred list, Arañaho has been an outstanding contractor and well done finding them.
Right, yeah. Yeah, those were good bids. When they're tight like that, that's good.
Yep.
Councilmember Dyak?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think a few council meetings ago, we had a project that was $1 million over the engineering estimate. This is about $650,000 under, so, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I think the estimate is a good target. Sometimes we get lucky, other times we don't. Thank you.
Councilmember Wilkes?
Yeah, I'm excited. They did a fantastic job filling in that wonderful sinkhole that we had, and I think they did it quickly and for the best price they could. So I'm excited to work with them again.
Yep.
Councilmember Hefta?
Thank you, Tom, for your input and work on this.
You're welcome. So you're not going to have a problem with me coming back on February 5th?
Maybe more questions.
You're good.
We're good.
You're good. Okay. All right, council, I'll entertain a motion on the Parker Road Sidewalk East Side Multi-Use Trail Connection.
I move to approve the Parker Road Sidewalk East Side Multi-Use Trail Connection.
Contingent upon receipt of the concurrence from CETA to award.
What he said. Do I have to say that?
If you want to just adopt his amendment, yep.
Can I just adopt his amendment?
Yep.
Accept a friendly
Okay,
amendment.
thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made by Wilkes, seconded by Hendricks. Rivera?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 6-0. With no other business before the Parker Town Council, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is made by Wilkes, seconded by Hefta. Rivera?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And we're adjourned at 7:58.